Hi, and welcome to another video by Get It Done Home Repairs. Today we're going to be doing a replacement of the kitchen faucet. We're going to take out the old faucet and we're going to replace it with a new modern style faucet. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do, we'll get into the faucet that we're going to replace it with in just a minute. But first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the old one, take it out of the way, and then we can start to put the new one back in. The first thing you want to do, of course, is to turn off your water supply to make sure that there is no water going to the faucet before you loosen anything up. Alright, so that's what we're going to do first. We're going to go down underneath the bottom here, shut the valves off. We're going to turn the faucet on, let the water run out, and then we'll disconnect the supply lines down the bottom. We will make sure we have a bucket down there just in case we have a little bit of water leaking. And we'll have a couple of rags to dry up whatever water does come out so we don't make a mess all over the place. Alright, so let's go underneath there. I'm going to show you where the valves are and how to change that faucet. So come on, I'll show you. Okay, down underneath, almost every sink has got a shut-off valve underneath the bottom that'll be able to turn off the water supply to the hoses. This one is the one for the hot, so we're just going to turn it like this. Whenever the valve is in this position, turned sideways, it blocks off the water going through the hose. So we're going to come over to the cold side now, and we're going to do the exact same thing. We'll shut it off just like that. Now we'll come up to the sink on top, and we'll make sure that the water is off. And as you can see, no water coming out there, no water coming out there. So we know that our water is turned off down below. Don't always assume that these valves underneath here are going to be good, because sometimes these valves leak and water will start to trickle out. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come up underneath here with a wrench on here like this, and we're going to loosen this up. But before we loosen that up, we're going to make sure that we have some rags laying around just to dry up any water that comes down, and then we're going to stick the supply line into that bucket, because obviously there's going to be water in the supply line and it's going to go into this bucket. Alright, so that's what we're going to do first. So let's get started on that, and here we go. Okay, so be prepared just in case some water comes out. Alright, what you want to do is just crack it loose just a little bit. Take the valve, hold the valve so it doesn't move, and just turn this a little bit. And just do it slowly, because water will definitely be coming out of there. So we're just going to put a rag down here just to catch any water that comes down. Okay. There's a little water in there, so we're just going to dry it off. Okay, we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side right here too. Don't assume that there's no water in there. Always be prepared. Okay, now I will tell you this, when I go up top and I turn the faucet on, water is going to come out of those hoses. So let me just drain that out, and you'll see what I mean about that water coming out. Okay, alright, so now we have all the water out of the hoses. We don't have to worry about making a mess down here now. We'll be in good shape. Next thing we're going to do now is we're going to take off this hose here, because this is the sprayer hose. We're going to remove that hose there. So let me get in there and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, now you can see underneath here, this is the hose that goes up through the top right there. So we need to take that hose out. So we're going to press this little tiny button right in the back, right there. We're going to push that button in, and then we're going to pull that hose down and out. Might be a little tough to do one-handed, but I'm going to try. Okay, there it is. You see a couple of drops coming out. Nothing really big. But we have our bucket down there just in case, right? And now we're going to take this hose and we're going to pull it up through here and we're going to pull it out. So let me pull that out. Okay, so now we have the hose out. Let's see if you can see that, I'm not sure. Okay, so you see that hose now is disconnected. There's a little button on the side there, we just pressed it. We're going to take off that bolt, or nut I should say. We're going to take this piece right here off first. This is to protect the hose so it doesn't get damaged. So we're going to take that off first. And then we're going to come up here with a tool like this that goes on it. Now if you don't have this tool, you can get in here with a crescent wrench or an adjustable wrench or anything like that, but this makes it a little bit easier. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to need 2 hands to do this because I'm going to put a screwdriver through that little hole right there, and I'm going to turn that bolt and break it loose. So let me give that a shot. Loose, and now we're going to take the screwdriver off and we'll come up underneath here with this tool and we'll just unscrew. We're going to unscrew that another all the way off, and we're going to take that piece out with it like that. So we have these pieces now off. We're going to take them. Let's go up top and we're going to pull it out. All right, then we're just going to take this and we're just going to pull this up and we're going to slide it out. Maybe a little bit tight, so don't force anything. You don't want to break anything. And we'll just take it right out like this. Okay. All right, so now we have the hole is open. You can see this is where the new faucet's going to go. This is the piece I was telling you about, just in case you had multiple holes in here. This would go in there and it would actually close it off so that you would not see that hole. And then this would be the plate that goes over the top of it, the chrome plate that went over the top to make it look nice. Like this, and it goes over the top of that. But we're not going to use this today with this application, so let's put this off to the side. We're going to get this stuff out of here that we took out, and then we're going to continue putting the new faucet back in. Okay, so this is our replacement faucet that we're going to be putting in. And like I said, we are not going to use this piece over here, so we're going to take this and we're going to relocate this out of the way so we don't have to worry about these parts. This is actually an optional sprayer that you can use if you choose to. I'm not going to use that either because we only have one hole in the top over here, and I don't want to use the sprayer, so we'll put that to the side as well. These pieces here are the pieces that actually screw this on. We're not going to use that either, but if you were putting this in, obviously you would need this to screw it in. Okay? This is the mounting hardware to actually screw the faucet up through here. This is the other part for the nozzle in case we have the sprayer, which would be off to the side, which we're not going to use this either. This is the tool that comes provided to screw this nut on underneath there. This piece here is going to go down the bottom. We're going to slide it on through here, and then we're going to put this nut on here, and then we'll tighten it up with this tool to bring it up to where it belongs. All right, these are the pieces that we are going to need, that we are going to use right now. This comes as a on the side. This O-ring goes in here. You can see there's a groove cut in here. I'll show you. There's a groove cut in there that you can see. That's where the O-ring goes, just like that, right? This, you can see these little tiny tabs right there. they need to fit right into that little tab right there. So that's the way it's going to go, just like that. Make sure they line up. This goes over the top right here, and then the faucet goes through there, but we're going to put this on over here first. All right, now I want to explain what these pieces are here. These come in the kit too, and you're probably looking at them saying, what the heck are these for? These pieces are just in case you wanted to shorten these hoses down. If you didn't want to have long hoses underneath there, then you would take the hose and you would cut the hose, you would slide the piece here back on, up onto the hose up here, and then this is what you would use to keep it from leaking. But we'll see how that goes. We're going to play it by ear and see. Most likely what I'm going to do is I should be able to get these hoses in there, and I should be able to loop them around, so we shouldn't interfere with anything, but we'll see how that goes. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to slide this together onto here, and we're going to put that faucet through. So let me do that. All right, so now we know we assembled this rubber gasket in here in the groove. We put this in here, and we made sure that this little tab here lines up with that little tab right there. And we put it together so that they are exactly lined up, like that. And now we're going to take this, and we're going to slide it up underneath here. And you see these little tiny spots right there? We're going to make sure that those tabs line up in those spots there. So let me do that. Well, now will it move? Yes. But you just reposition it later on. Once you're back up here, I'm going to bring it up there. We're going to slide this again. Slide it through here. It's a little snug, but it goes pretty easily. All right, I'm going to take this piece, bring it up here, so that the tabs, those little tabs, line up. We're going to do the exact same thing here. Bring this up here, so that these tabs then line up in here as well. Okay, just like that. And now we're going to take this, we're going to turn it over, put our supply lines through first, like this. And you can see my hand is holding that piece so it doesn't fall. I'm going to put it down here like that. Okay. Now we're going to go down the bottom, and we're going to slide that nut onto the bottom, and then we'll tighten this up. So let me get down the bottom, and we'll catch that nut down there, and we'll start tightening it up. Okay, and looking at it from the bottom, you can see right there, we're going to take this bracket that they supplied with us, this piece right here, we're going to put it up there, and then we're going to screw the nut on. But I think I'm going to need two hands to do it, so I'm going to put you down for 1 second. And we'll tighten it up with our tool like this. But before I do this tight, I'm going to go up top, and I'm going to make sure my faucet is facing in the correct direction. I'm going to put that tool on, and we're just going to snug it up there. All right, nice and tight. Okay. All right, so that's nice and tight there. That's tight. Let's go up top and make sure it's okay up there. And then we'll come back down the bottom here and we'll finish it off. So you see our faucet is in the correct direction. This is where I chose to have the control. And as you can see, that looks good. Everything is in nice and tight right here. All right, so we're going to go down underneath the bottom. Now, if this doesn't line up properly in here, then the little tabs may have slipped out. Then you'll need to just take it apart and take a look in there again. But that looks okay. So, all right, let's continue down the bottom. We'll get those lines in. So now our lines, you can see they're right here. One of them, of course, is going to be the hot. It tells you right on here which one is which, so you know. All right, so this is our hot line right here. And we're going to connect this up onto this valve here, and this one is going to go onto the other. All right, and of course they're color coded as well, blue and red. All right, so now, you like I said, you can cut the line if you choose to make it a custom size. I'm not going to. I'm actually going to loop it around, and I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to connect it into the valve. So let me just do that, and you can watch how we do it. You want to screw this line in by hand. You don't want to screw it in with the wrench yet because you don't want to cross thread anything. And then once you have it caught, we're going to hold the line straight, and then we're just going to snug this in very, very loosely until it comes down and touches. And then we're just going to go a little more because you're only tightening up plastic. Okay? And we'll do the same thing on the other side right here. I'm going to have to trade sides with you. I'll do the exact same thing over here. We're just going to loop this around like this. In here. Screw it in by hand again. And if it doesn't screw in, just rock the line back and forth. And it'll screw in a little easier. That way you know you're not cross-threading it. Alright, so we're going to hold it straight, and we're going to snug this down. Okay, and then we're just going to go a little more. Okay, and that's it. Alright, so now our lines are connected. We're going to turn the faucet off up top. Now we'll turn our water on. Make sure we have no leaks here, as you can see. Nice and dry. And we'll do the exact same thing right here. Be prepared just in case you do have any water leaks, right? If you do have a water leak, then obviously you shut it off, and you will come in with a wrench here, and you just go just a tiny bit tighter. But that's not the case here. We're in good shape. Okay, let's go up top and let's test it out. See if it gets hot. Alright, nice and cold. Not getting hot, so we'll go the other direction now. Let it run for a minute, make sure it gets nice and warm. Okay, nice and hot. Turn it the other way now, make sure it gets cold. And it's nice and cold. Alright, turn it off. And that's it, we're all set. Okay, so that's it. Our faucet is all done. We made sure that the hot works properly, the cold works properly. If by chance you turn it to the hot side and it gets cold, and vice versa, then you know you put your supply lines on incorrectly on the valves down below the sink. Then you just turn your valves off, rotate the hoses, and you'll be good to go. But that's it, we're all done. We're just going to check it to make sure we have no more leaks down the bottom by the valves, because sometimes when you turn the valve off and on, you'll get a little bit of a drip there. So we're going to keep an eye on that to make sure it's okay. And that's it, this job is done. Alright, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.